Good afternoon, church. Pastor Craig here once again, midweek greeting. Happy Wednesday to you. I'm standing here in the city of Estevan next to the train tracks just across from the old train station because a train is a great illustration of something that I want to share today. A thought that God's been laying on my heart for quite some time and has been teaching me about, and I want to share with each one of us. You know, this winter, something unusual happened. I was out for a run and I heard a train horn. Now that in and of itself is not that unusual. As many of you will know, there are a lot of trains that go through the city of Estevan every day. And when the train goes across every crossing, it honks its horn. And that's what I heard, was the horn honking. What was unusual was that on this particular day, as I listened to the notes of that train horn, I all of a sudden recognized the chord it was playing. It was playing the notes to the beginning of the song Bohemian Rhapsody by Queen. Now, if you're not familiar with that song, don't worry about it. The important thing is that I recognize the notes of the chord from a specific song. And as that train continued through town, I heard that chord played over and over, and sure enough, every time I could hear, that's what notes it's playing. And I thought, that's pretty cool. I didn't know that's the notes that a train horn plays. Then I heard another train horn, and it didn't sound the same. And another one, and it didn't sound the same. And another one that didn't sound the same, and I started to wonder, was it just because of where I was standing or because it was so cold? What made it different that all of a sudden that train horn sounded like that particular song? And then I remembered something that I'd learned a few years ago. I was taking a look at what notes do train horns actually play a number of years ago and learned that different manufacturers of train horns tune their horns different from each other. And so the notes are not exactly the same on every single train. Rather, some manufacturers will tune theirs one way, another manufacturer will tune it just a little bit differently. But the important thing is, they're all train horns, no matter how they're tuned. Hold on to that thought. The thing that God's been speaking to me about is the calling that He's given us to love people. I'm sure we all would agree that the number one calling that God has given us is to love God, and the second one is to love people. But loving people is challenging, isn't it? There's some people that it's easy to love, some people it's easy to get along with, and other people that it's just a little bit more challenging. And I don't know about you, but sometimes I kind of want to almost put people in a box and go, you know, that person, I don't agree with some of the lifestyle things that they've chosen. I maybe won't spend as much time with them. Or in the church, we maybe base it on theology. I don't agree with that person's theology, so I'll spend time with people and associate with people that I do agree with. Even within our biological families, many of us will have an individual in our family that we go, it's tough to get along with that person. I don't think that I need to spend quite as much time with them. You know, if I were to go stand on that train track and a train were to be coming and the horn were to be honking and I were to stand there going, I don't think I need to listen to that train horn because it's not a Bohemian Rhapsody horn. You'd be yelling at me going, get off the tracks, the train is coming. For the important thing is, a train horn is a train horn is a train horn. It doesn't matter what notes it's playing, it's still a train horn, and it requires action when you hear a train horn. God's call to love people is the same way. God has called us to love people, period. Those who we get along well with, those that we don't get along with, those that we agree with, those that we don't agree with, those who, all the different things that we may find we want to put people in a box about, it doesn't really matter. For God has called us to love people, period. You know, the Bible teaches us they will know we are Christians by our love. My prayer is that people will know me and will know that I love Jesus because of the way I love them. And my prayer for us as a church is that people will see Jesus because we love them. No matter what they think, no matter what they do, no matter how they act, we're called to love people. And may people see Jesus through our love. That is my prayer. You know, you often hear me say, let's go and be the church God has called us to be. This is one of the best things that we can do to be the church God has called us to be, is to follow His instruction to love people, period. And so I want to encourage us all to be willing to love everyone that comes our way, and to love as Christ loved us. And may people know that we are Christians by our love and be drawn to Jesus. Just some thoughts that I thought I wanted to share this week. So as we go into this week, let's be the church God has called us to be. I look forward to worshiping with you on Sunday. Have a great week.